Hello, and welcome to the Sounds of Salisbury podcast. Ellen was pointing something out then that I clearly got wrong, because clearly that's what happens all the time. Anyway, I'm Alex.
I'm Ellen.
And we are here to bring you the sounds of the Salisbury music scene.
And the voices of the community.
And we love the voices of the community.
We do.
Because we did quite a lot for them last weekend.
Last weekend, yes, we did. We had the absolute honour of hosting the main stage at the People in the Park.
Which was awesome. We found some sunshine from somewhere.
I know, we were expecting thunderstorms. It was so muggy all day. I was actually looking forward to a thunderstorm, but they just didn't appear, which is kind of good and bad.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. I mean, it was very, very warm. But what an incredible event. All of the stall holders were sensational. Everything that was put on was brilliant. The two music stages were excellent. All of the acts that performed were absolutely bang on. Got a great response from the audience that was there. And it was just a wonderful, wonderful day.
It was. My feet were killing me by the end because I was running around to the stall holders trying to sort of gauge a little bit what they were trying to achieve from the day so that I could shout that out from the main stage. So
lots of shout outs.
Lots of shout outs for lots of people. Yeah, wonderful response we got from everybody. It was a really good, fun day.
Yeah, it was quality. It was quality. And we've got some news with regards to that very event.
Yes,
Ellen, please divulge.
Ooh, drum roll, please. So we were doing a lot of shout outs. They had a ballad where you could vote.
Ballad. A ballad is like a song, like Every Rose Has Its Thorn, or a ballad, as in like, keeping it up to date. As in,
do you
like
know what?
election,
if you hadn't said that, people probably wouldn't have even noticed.
Oh, you point out things that
I do.
I'm not doing right.
That's fair.
So it's only.
Anyway,
fair
people voted. They had a seed funding pot, which the Transition City were gifting to some of the people that were actually there at the event. So they put their application in, they put their case forward in terms of what they would do with the money. And then people that attended the event could vote 1 to 3. And we have the winners.
Yes, we
do.
We are delighted to be able to announce the three winners, because they are all of them are winners. They'll all receive a certain amount of money to go towards what they need to help them achieve their goals. But we're not going to do it until a little bit later on.
Gonna keep you hanging.
Gonna keep you in suspense.
Yeah.
Oh no. So how many people are just going to fast forward through our podcast this week?
At least people will actually fast forward and they won't just get that bored off.
Well, they're fine. I'm sure we'll find out another way, But,
yeah.
Hey.
Yes. So anyone that doesn't listen to the podcast...
there are people that don't listen to the podcast?
Hopefully we've got new listeners to the podcast, and maybe if I put it that way, any new listeners out there to the podcast, what we do is each week we bring on a guest to interview. If it's a community guest, then kind of the interview is driven a little bit more by me, and then Alex will come up with the top 10. If it's a musical guest, damn, I'm not very good today. The interview is more driven by Alex, and I do the top 10. So this week is a musical guest. So I've come up with the top 10, and it's quite perfect, really, because we've just spoken about Transition City, and the guest we've got on is, we'll explain the guest in a minute, but we've called the episode Thunderstruck.
That's
a ballad, isn't it? Anyway, so when I was trying to come up with a theme for the top 10, I was racking my brains. It was about 3 o'clock this morning. I had a thunderstruck moment, and I thought, you know what, this is perfect, because it's kind of like a what, didn't realize any of that moment, and then I could team it and almost match it with Transition City. Alex is looking at me because he has no idea I've done.
This normally, we do tend to give little clues, or we go through it together, unless it's one where I want to try and make Ellen laugh. So, like, if you listened to last week's with Joe from Follow Comedy. My jokes Ellen had not heard before, and you could tell by her reaction because she was not impressed with my timing.
I think you had a 40% hit on that.
Yeah,
So that's
I
not
mean,
too
that's
bad.
okay.
4 out of 10.
That's probably better than average for my jokes, in fairness. So that's quite good. But then other times, yeah, like we said, we'll kind of go through them so that we know what we're doing. But this one, I absolutely do not have a Scooby-Doo what is going on. So, do you want controls, or are you happy for me to control?
I will take the control. I will take the control. So, like I say, I've kind of linked it a little bit back to the transition city and what they're trying to do with the environment and building awareness and how we can make Salisbury more sustainable.
Okay.
So, yeah. And I looked at the fashion industry.
I'm really confused. How is this linked to our guest?
It's a Thunderstruck moment where the realization, all right, they're all loose connections. I'm
Well,
taking it.
I mean, we say tenuous quite a lot, but wow. Okay. I'm ready.
You can sing again if you like.
I'm ready.
It makes it better.
Let me grab a drink.
Yeah.
Had to put it in a glass because I keep getting told off for advertising when I'm not supposed to. But this is a very nice apple and blackcurrant Thatcher's in a Trooper beer glass.
When you're done.
I'm done. Go on.
Yeah, so I looked at the fashion industry and the impact that they have on the environment and the social cost is astonishing. It really, truly is when you look at it. Pollution, they're responsible for 10% of the human carbon emissions. That's more than the international flights and maritime shipping combined, which is, I think, quite a
That's huge. Yeah.
Thunderstruck moment. If you don't already know that, water use.
Are these actually
actual facts?
Are they facts? They're not part of your top 10.
No, these are my top 10. Oh yeah, my top 10.
Yeah, I was thinking.
No,
you know,
do you know what? I'm going to skip forward then because clearly you're like.
Well, no. If it's leading up to, then it's relevant. But I just thought you'd forgotten that you've got slides and you.
I haven't forgotten.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm rambling.
No, you're not rambling. If you're not rambling, you're just
told off now.
I'm not telling her off. People, not. Please don't write in the comments that I'm telling her off.
Okay.
Please write in the comments. You know,
just one, just a thumbs up would be nice.
Yeah, as long as try somebody else other than Lucas Hardy.
No, I love Lucas
and Francesca.
Comments.
I know that they always comment. We love you guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah, please put in the comments. Alex, be nicer. Alex, appreciate us more.
Wow. Anyway, so you were saying
I was trying to
water use.
Well, I was going to give some facts about how the fashion industry is one of the main contributors to our current environmental problems. And if Salisbury wants to be more sustainable, which is our goal, there is one thing that's easy that we can all do about that.
Okay.
Yep.
And that is?
Charity shops.
Do you hands up who doesn't charity shop. Oh, come on, put your hand up. I've seen you out in Salisbury.
I love a charity shop. Salisbury's actually got 14 charity shops. 14. And the brilliant thing about that is you're recycling, you're reusing, you're buying other people's things, but you're also giving back to local charities. The most of them, I've actually written a list. I've actually taken pictures of the outside, and I'm going to put a little clap art together. Clap art, clip art. Don't pull me up on that either. I'm going to put that together and I'm going to throw it as a little promo so you can all see how many charity shops and what they are. So we've got Wiltshire Age, we've got Elaborate, Wiltshire Sight, South Wilts Mencap, Oxfam, Salisbury Hospice, Trussell Trust actually have 2 shops, British Red Cross, Naomi's House and Jack's Place, Sue Ryder, British Heart Foundation, Julia's House, and the Children's Society. I mean, why do we go to Primark and New Look and buy clothes that are manufactured that are causing all of these issues? Why don't we go to these? So anyway, my top 10.
Charity shop pub crawl. That's what we need to do. You can visit all 14 charity shops but in between you have to go to a pub and have a pint or a shot.
Okay, so shall I list 14 pubs in Salisbury to
There's
go along with
more than enough.
There is more than enough.
More than enough. Okay.
Yeah.
So, Ellen.
Yes. So I went on a little mission today, this afternoon. I had the afternoon off work, me and my daughter, and she wanted to do a bit of shopping. So obviously we hit the charity shops, and I decided I would look for my top 10 items that I would buy in a charity shop. And here they are. Yep. At number 10, jigsaw puzzles.
Jigsaw puzzles.
Everyone loves a jigsaw puzzle, and they're quite pricey in the shops.
Oh, they're very, very expensive.
Yeah, and charity shops, you're giving to charity, you're getting a jigsaw puzzle, and you can get a second one for half price today. These are all today. These photos were all taken today. So if you run in the shop, you'll be able to get these tomorrow.
That's very cool. I can't just say that I think the only...
Oh, no. Go on, say it.
Yeah, what happens if you buy one and there's like pieces missing? That's my only concern there.
It's just a risk you have to take, I guess.
Ellen loves puzzles. She loves jigsaw puzzles, so she's willing to take that risk.
I am. I did do a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle one day, and when I looked at the floor and realised my dog was chewing one of the pieces, I just threw it in the bin. I was not happy.
Priceless.
Number 2, you can go.
Number 2 or number 9?
Number 9. Sorry.
Sorry. Don't want you to make my mistakes. That's
True.
all.
Thanks. An inflatable drinks holder. We're coming into summer. We get the paddling pools out with a hot tub. Just don't put the bubbles on, and you can sit there and you can get an inflatable drinks holder from a charity shop today.
I am all up for that. How much was that?
I think if we zoom in, I think it was like £2.
£2. Bang.
Yeah. Give it to charity, getting something that you want.
Love that.
And then at number 8, they were so cute. Tiny little girl football boots. They must have been made for like a 3-year-old. They were literally like that big. You can't see in the picture, but I loved them. I just think girl power football.
Girl power. Yes, it's all about the football. It's good.
And football boots are expensive. They're Adidas, and you could get those for like £3 in the charity shop. So
that is a bargain.
It's a bargain.
You know, you could be buying them for somebody who ends up playing for the Lionesses one day.
Yes. Good.
There you go.
Number 7, prom dresses. There's a shop down, I can't remember, I think it's Catherine Street, and it's full of prom dresses, and they're beautiful. And you can go and get them altered at the local seamstress shop. I think there's a brilliant one in Amesbury that I took my daughter to.
Yep.
Yeah. So don't go and spend £500 on a brand new prom dress. Have a look at what's out there in the charity shops.
Yeah, and then give it to somebody that knows what they're doing to make some alterations, and bang! I think a colourful, epic, and it could then be unique to you, as opposed to, you know, the usual ones.
Okay.
Because I'm a, prom dress expert. Obviously.
Should I just hover there and you can tell me a little bit more about prom dresses?
No, it's all right.
Yeah. Number 6. I mean, I just thought that was cool. An old typewriter. The fact that you can go into a charity shop and buy an old typewriter, I just thought it was really cool. You can't go into Argos and buy one of those.
You can't. Not at all. I'm just trying to think of a joke about the younger generation now watching this going, what is that? But I can't think of any.
It's basically a keyboard without a screen. And you literally type straight onto paper.
Wow.
It's scary stuff.
We're so old.
It doesn't work. Control-Alt-Delete's not doing anything.
Tipex. Or just start again. Yeah. Obviously very popular for old school authors.
Yeah.
You know, there are people like sort of Stephen King and stuff like that I think was quite liked just using typewriters as opposed to wordy things.
Yeah. Number 5, if you've got an event this year, a wedding, the races, or something like that, one of the shops has got a whole section and there's a sign that says, get your fancy hats and your fancy dresses.
Fancy hats and fancy dresses.
Fancy hats, yes. And they're beautiful. They really are. They're absolutely stunning. And to pick up a dress like that in a shop, you're probably looking at £80, £90. Go in there, £10, £15, and you've sorted yourself out.
Bargain. We'll
Bargain.
see you at Salisbury races with your fancy hat on.
Hat.
What is it? A fascinator? Is that what they call
Oh,
them?
you can have a fascinator.
Fascinator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they had some of those in there as well. You
I
get
am
all
really
sorts.
throwing down the fashion lingo today. I'm quite disappointed in myself.
Let's go on to number 4. Fashioned by my beautiful daughter, who was in the shops with me. You can go in and buy a hat, but you can also have like a girly chick flick moment where you try stuff on and just have a little bit of fun in the shop with it.
Okay. Like a bit of a cabbage. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, no? All good.
Okay. And number 3, I'm not going to lie, I nearly bought this. It's a little egg timer. So it's a chicken, and I picked it up and I thought, I love this so much. And I turned it because, it's what you
'Cause
do,
you
isn't
do.
it? And then I thought, oops, put it back on the shelf. And then I just stood there waiting, thinking, I can't just walk away and leave it to go off an alarm. And I felt so terrible. I just said to the woman behind the counter, sorry, I'm just saying your time, but we're leaving. But it's so cute.
So now normally that would be me at Christmas, where you go down the toy aisle and it says, "Oh, try me, press the button and try me." So it's like dunk, 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 dunk.
I can't believe I haven't
Love
got
it.
it in there. One of the shops we walked around the corner, and there's a whole Christmas section.
You must have been like heaven.
I was. I took a picture of that one, but I thought you might not appreciate the Christmas. It didn't make my top 10.
Did it not?
quite yet.
What? Christmas didn't make your top 10?
No.
Wow.
I'm actually disappointed with myself.
Quite surprised.
Okay, so let's move on.
Please do.
Okay, this is almost Halloween. So this dress, I picked it up, and I think it was like £3.50 or something. I can't remember exactly, but it looked identical to the dress that the girl in Wednesday wore.
I was going to say, because I saw the trailer for it today, it looks very Beetlejuice.
Oh, it could be Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So go hunt the charity shops if you want a dress that's either Beetlejuice or Wednesday
Adams.
inspired. Okay, and my last slide, and Alex, could you just pass me my bag from the end?
Oh. Okay.
I'll just get some elevator music going. I should have prepped this. I do apologise. Not very professional of me. And
wow. We've got. You've actually bought it, haven't you? I just got what?
Mum's medicine. It's a wine stopper, and I thought I just need that. I have to buy that. So I am showing this, people, but it is no longer in the charity shop. So yeah, that is my top 10 charity shop finds in Salisbury. Don't say it.
49p, ladies and
Yes.
gentlemen. 49p. I love it. That is
brilliant.
so cool. Mum's medicine. Brilliant.
Yeah. So that's our little way of being eco-friendly, helping sustainability in Salisbury, and also giving to charity at the same time. Thunderstruck, people.
Wowzers. Mic drop.
I like this.
That's very, very cool. Well done. I like that one.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Should we go on to who we're going to interview today?
Charity shops. Hit them up, because you never know what you might find.
Never do.
I mean, I like records in charity shops. So I think that's a underutilized. I mean, in fairness, a lot of it is quite very, very old school, very old. It's like sort of 40s, 50s, 60s, but not the good 60s. But you never know. Sometimes you find an absolute bargain in there, which
I did see a Gilbert O'Sullivan that I nearly bought for my sister. She's a huge Gilbert O'Sullivan fan.
she is.
Yeah. But I don't know if she's got a turntable, so I didn't.
A turntable.
It's a record player.
You've been hanging out with Kev Lawrence too much. How you doing, Kev? All right, man.
Okay, Alex, who have we got on to be interviewed today?
Anyway, so the Thunderstruck theme could give you a little idea. It's Thunderstruck, AC/DC, who plays a lot of AC/DC nowadays anyway. The brilliant, fantastic break cover. So we are joined after the break by Simon, Terry, and Amber to have a chat about all things break cover, all things BCDC, and who knows, whatever else might come up. So we'll have a little break, we'll have a little tipple, and then we'll be right back. Hello, break cover, and welcome to the Sounds of Salisbury podcast.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
Fantastic.
Good, thank you.
Excellent. It's wonderful to have you on the show. I'm going to start by throwing some numbers at you.
Oh,
So,
he likes that.
It's all right. You don't. You know, it's not a quiz, but just to sort of just to highlight you guys a little bit. So, break cover.
Oh,
I know this is good, isn't it? We've no expense spared. We have gone for it. So, formed in 2012.
Yep.
So you've been going now for 12 years. Oh,
That was just in May.
a
Couple of weeks ago.
Yeah,
A couple
a couple of weeks ago. That's right. You've done 303 gigs as of this point, but we're recording this on the Friday. It goes out on the Monday. You've got a gig on the Saturday and a gig on the Sunday. So
Yep.
with 305 by the time this podcast comes out for everyone to listen to, which I think is an incredible amount.
It's all right.
Bearing in mind other things which we'll talk about in a little while.
Okay.
You've had 22 different members in the bands, whether that's people who have kind of depped for one gig or a couple of gigs, or permanent members that have then moved on. 22 people in the band, which consists of 3 drummers, 10 bassists, 5 guitarists, and 6 singers.
Now there's a scene that's coming to mind. He's had 4 new heads and 6 new handles.
And you see, that was the bit I couldn't work out. So I'm quietly confident there's probably been umpteen guitars and everything else.
Oh, that'd be a deep dive.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
I've seen your Facebook, and I know that you go to the guitar shows, and I know it's like, oh, hang on, that's the next one, that's the next one, that's the next one.
Yeah, I might have a problem.
I think in my time, you've probably got about 50 guitars.
Moving on.
Anyway.
Moving swiftly on. So, Simon and Terry, you've been with the band from the very beginning.
Yeah.
He's the longest, though. He's been the very, very, very beginning.
By like
Absolutely.
2 months.
4 months.
Yeah.
You were December, I was
That's
April.
right, yeah.
And then that was kind of before you were even called Break Cover. So when you
that was the first gig.
When you did your first gig, you didn't even have a name, did you?
When we
Is that
sat
right?
down and turned up, that was the one at Boscombe Down.
That was a Boscombe Down, yeah.
There was no name, and I think it was either once we'd set it all up, we were waiting to start, or in between the 2 sets, that Craig, who's one of those millions of drummers you just showed, his daughter had come up with a name, and we said, we need something to just, put a handle on. You know what? Let's go with it until something else better comes along.
Stick it on a page.
And that's where Break
12 years later.
Yeah. Cheers, Craig. Cheers, Emma.
And you've been in bands or played it in other bands since Simon. You used to be in the Statues.
Yes.
With my good friend Deb Fulton.
Yes.
All right, Baz, how you doing? They were awesome. And then Terry, I'm not sure about bands that you've been in before, but you've done work since you were in Southbound.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's that keeps
What
you.
he did
Kind of,
before. That's what he's prompting for.
So okay, so before Break Cover, I've not been in a band.
okay.
So Break Cover is essentially my first band. So I learned to play when I was wee tiny little fella, and then I did that silly thing of joining the military, and I never really hit the same period of time with the right sort of people. It's only when I got posted here back in 2008, I think it was. So I'm an import, which is probably why you couldn't find much details on before. But yeah, it's only after I sort of got here there was a bit of slack in the system, and I sort of could do this.
But you were in a musical, weren't you?
Yeah,
you should tell the nice people about the musical.
So yes, I've played. God blimey, it's not about me. So I come down here. I have played guitar for many years, but it's always been about the same 4 songs, sitting in my bedroom, and then just put it down. And it's like, okay, not really sort of going anywhere. And then there was an advert, and so I was in the military. There was the RAF Theatrical Association had asked for musicians to put on a show for Return to the Forbidden Planet. So we want musicians to play 60s rock and roll numbers, and it's like, I could probably do that. So sent a thing in, managed to get to the audition. I think I was the first. So there was only I could make one practice. And basically, because I turned up and did all right, I got the job. And it's like, oh, God, okay.
You're in a musical now.
I was in a musical with a 250-page score. And it's like, I can't read the music. So I then spent the next month like tabbing out. So it was like all of that. I've got my chord book still somewhere. There's like a little notes thing that I just used to flip over the page to make sure I wasn't, I had all the right cues on this particular point, play this thing. And so I did a week of playing guitar in a pit band in Cambridge. Wow. And then it's like, I quite enjoyed that. And then started going looking.
Cool. That's very cool. And then you found the people that were going to end up being Break Cover.
Found my first band.
Your first band.
Well, 12 years later.
Still.
That's fine.
And Amber, so before you joined the band in, I think 2018.
Yeah.
You were in Common Confusion. Can't even read my own writing.
The irony is, Matt.
Was that a duo?
Yeah, with
right?
Ben Williams.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So that was
not been around for a while, has he?
No. Met him. I was managing a pub, and he did open mic, and I was like, oh, I might try and see if I can do some stuff with him. We started doing some stuff, I think, for about a year, maybe. And then these guys saw me on the Market Square, was it?
Yeah, we shared a stage. You were on in the afternoon, we were on in the evening.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I think the next weekend you posted that you're looking for a singer.
Yeah.
And that was that. It was the most terrifying experience auditioning. Absolutely. Stood in a little room, never used IEMs before. Terry looked like a tomato. He was so sunburned.
Oh, yeah. The things you remember.
Just standing there thinking, oh my God, what have I done?
Yeah, I remember it. Yeah, I could just about move.
Yeah. And then I think that proceeded to me messaging Simon about 7 times a day for the next 3 days. Simon.
Mania.
Yeah. And then we did back-to-back gigs, I think, for 7-8 months.
From practice to first gig was 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I remember that. That was bang on 14 days. And then we kind of didn't stop for a couple of months.
No.
Just sort of practiced by doing it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So does that mean then, if it's 6 years, that means you have been our singer for half of our time that we've been alive now?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
50%.
Wow.
There you go.
You are the longest reigning singer in the band.
Yep.
I'm not allowed to
Which is
leave
pretty
either, apparently.
You get a badge.
I'll have to make one.
Get a badge.
Let's make a
Can I have a badge? A gold star, please.
I'll let see what I've got with my drawer.
Thank you.
But you come from a classical background.
Yeah. I when I was in first school, my teacher assistant said to my parents, I think she can sing. So at about 8 or 9, I was carted off to be taught how to sing classically and got bullied very badly in school for it. So then decided to go over to musicals. And then kind of just stayed doing that for quite some time. Doing stuff in school with like music productions. I sung with Ridian Roberts from X Factor. Do you remember him?
Blank faces
Massive
everywhere.
blonde quiff. That was cool. That was in Wales. And then I think I've always had to juggle music and horses. So for a little while after getting to about 16, horses took over for a few years. And yeah, wasn't really doing a great deal when I met sort of Break Cover. I was just doing stuff with Ben as and when. And then yeah, that was that really.
Yeah, so when we first saw you, you were very new to Break Cover, and we'd seen Break Cover before in its previous
Lots of times.
Yeah, lots of times. And yeah, when you come on the stage, your voice is undeniable, absolutely. And it's grown also so much over the last 6 years. And I think a lot of that, from our perspective, when we're stood in the audience enjoying you guys, I think it's grown because obviously you're more confident and the band are more confident in you. And then you all have that connection when you're on the stage. And then I think because you've all now got that connection, your whole performance is just like lifted through the roof. So from when I saw you just over sort of probably 7-8 years ago for the first time to where you are now, I think you're a completely different band.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I think so. We ought to just mention that there's two people that's not here. This isn't all of Break Cover. There's also Pete the drummer who lives in.
Who's amazing.
It's almost foreign, isn't it? It's like North Wiltshire rather than South Wiltshire. So he's a long way away.
Oh, we don't like this Northerners, no.
But he changed the band. He joined us in.
It was
in lockdown.
Lockdown. Yeah, well, his audition was on Jamulus and a video camera, and he was in his shed, and we all remember it because he was hitting his drums so hard that his camera was shaking. So that was like, okay. So yeah, he joined us in lockdown, and I think maybe even our first gig was in lockdown, and that was online as well.
I stood in your office.
Yeah. So he's been with us for 4 years, and he changed the band. His drive and noise changed the way that we do things. I mean, he's a big drummer. He cites that his favorite drummer is John Bonham, and you can tell. You know, that's the energy that you get from him.
Yeah.
And then more recently, we've got Dave Alloway, who joined us a year ago.
It's only just ago.
Yeah, just joined us about a year ago.
Mr. ACDC.
Yeah, and he brought a different energy. As Amber says, you know, he's Mr. ACDC because he's actually been in an ACDC video. So we'll come back to that when we get there. But he was one of the triggers for the BCDC thing.
Yeah.
His noise, his presence in the room has changed the way that we sound. So yeah, Amber did a thing when she came in, and you know, and absolutely that growth that she's gone through from that terrified human being that was in that room 6 years ago to the monster that we unleash on the stage now. But the other guys also just lifted everything else that we did as well.
What's kept you guys kind of motivated through all of the changes? Like I said, you've had 22 people through the 12 years in the band. So what's kept the two of you specifically kind of motivated to keep going? You know, you've had little side projects here and there, but you know, 12 years in the grand scheme of things, especially in the sort of like the Salisbury scene, is quite a long time. You know, so what makes you kind of go, let's just find another bassist or a drummer and carry on?
Yeah, I've got two answers really. One is exactly what you just tapped into there, or that Ellen sort of hinted at, the growth thing. It's not the same band. When we look back to, you know, when it was Craig and Terry and Michelle, that was one thing. And I don't even think there's a single song from that set list that survives to today. because the whole feeling of the band is so different. And then as different band members have come in and brought different things, it's grown and changed. So it hasn't felt like, I know there's a couple of bands around Salisbury that have been the same lineup for 20 something years. Yeah. And I think that's a different thing, because that becomes a family. But with us, it's been that, hey, we're doing something new. It's not the same. It's bigger, it's better, it's louder, it's faster. So that energy has brought a lot to it. And the other thing for me that Amber hinted at is, when you've bought quite a lot of guitars, it does seem a shame to not use them. So that's quite an incentive to get them off the wall every now and again.
But then you only use the same 4 or 5. I am quite a heavy influence on new guitars too.
You're an enabler, is what you are.
An enabler. Don't fund it.
No.
Just go, oh, that's pretty. Okay.
I did write down, embrace change and influenced by members of the band. So you, as you said there, you started with Michelle Church as your first singer. Just fantastic.
Yeah.
But you look at her and you look at Amber, and they're two very different singers. So you have to then embrace, this incredible instrument that you have in front of you with a microphone that is smashing these songs out.
Yeah, and
compared
Michelle
to somebody else that does something different.
But it's different, exactly that. And I think we wanted to, trying to remember that far back, we were then going in a more rocky direction, less bluesy, less soulful, more oomph direction. And, I think Michelle definitely wanted more. I think the next thing she did was a soul band. So she was definitely doing that sort of stuff, and we were doing the rock stuff. And it started then. So, yeah, that was definitely a thing.
And I think when Dave joined, that we wanted to go heavier. And when Dave joined, it was like,
pushing over,
right, lock and nose, let's go.
Yeah.
And that was really cool. It just kind of happened. We weren't looking for a specific type of bass player. It just happened. That's what he enjoyed. And it was just like finding a key to a perfect lock or perfect key to a lock.
Yeah.
And it was like, wow, this is something special.
It's like deciding you want to go faster and then someone gives you a Ferrari.
Yeah. And it's very rarely that we don't have that magic now, on stage, when you're just like, wow, that's something.
I mean, there are a couple of things that do enable stuff like that. So we've always maintained a kind of rule. Well, not rule, it's guidance really. But if someone really doesn't like a song, it's out of the list.
Yeah.
So if we get, you sort of say, we have had quite a few people come through, and play. Probably the only people that, because obviously as a permanent member, I've done some fairly big stints away when I was in the military, but guitar-wise, it's generally been fairly settled.
Yeah.
But if someone, certainly changing singers, that sometimes there's a whole group of songs that just have to that doesn't work anymore. So that kind of gets parked to one side. There was at one point, I remember, we were without, because we've usually had a female front singer throughout the entire 12 years, but there was a time where we suddenly didn't and had to pack out a set and nearly become a blues band. But that was kind of like a necessity thing. But then later on, they kind of got replaced with other songs because we had time and stuff like that. But always learning new stuff is always, there's always a learning list that we've never fully. We keep sort of going, oh, that would be amazing. Go on the list. And then it's a list that keeps growing. And every so often it's like, oh, that can come off. But if someone says they don't like that song, that's it. It's in the bin anyway. We're not doing it.
Fair play.
Although,
I think it's... sorry, go on, Simon.
Although, sometimes somebody introduces a song and they go, we should do this. It's going to be great. And the whole band goes, I don't like that song. And they go, oh, it'd be really good. And then he comes back next week and he's learned how to play it on guitar. And he's like, okay, all right, well, that doesn't sound as bad as I remember. And then a little while longer, he sort of plays it again. And they go, oh, well, I better go away and learn it and just have a go. And then two of us turn up and play it. And then suddenly it's the biggest song you've ever heard in your life. I don't know if that rings any bells. So sometimes we are allowed to influence by ideas that come in. So we say no, and then so interestingly, you've opened the door there. Our slogan is
I'm going to open another one in a minute.
yeah, no. The music you love rocked up, right? And the idea behind that was suddenly we were doing pop songs. We were taking Bruno Mars songs and David Guetta songs and things like that, and just making them ours. Because people say, "Well, it's not really a break cover song." Well, funny enough, when break cover plays it, it sounds like a break cover song because break cover are playing it. And we learned that with a certain amount of leniency, we can take anything and make it sound like us.
I love that.
So,
I want an example of a
Knocked Out of
song
Heaven.
one that
Rolling
I
the
was just-
deep.
Titanium.
Adele Skyfall.
Yeah, we did Skyfall once. That was
Wow.
actually for a 007 night.
That was
wasn't
for
it?
a 007
Yeah,
theme night, yeah. And it lived. It was all right. It was in the set for a little while, because it was cool. And then the DVD come out, and then we had a bit of a re-release itself. And then after that, kind of died off. Yeah.
People stopped recognizing it. I think it just got boring. So.
What I love about that and about that whole conversation is that people can actually listen to your songs because you've recorded 5 albums, and every single one of them, it's 5 uncovered, unbreakable, unleashed, undaunted, and unscathed. Plus, my personal favorite, because we were actually there, Durry Live.
Yeah.
Right, but all 5 of those albums have different singers.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you can track kind of the you can literally track your growth, because that's the big word, through listening to those 5 albums of all of these different covers that you've performed. And as you rightly said, there'll be stuff that on the first one that Michelle is doing that will be nowhere to be seen by the time you get to the last one that Amber's done.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for that, Alex. That's really nice. It's lovely to hear, because we like to think so, but of course we're not stood out there listening to it. So for you to say that that's what people are hearing, that's really cool. Thank you.
I suppose that's the difficulty for yourselves, is obviously you're performers and you're hoping that what you're putting out there is good. But what about feedback? Do you get feedback from people, or do people just sort of tend to enjoy what they do, what you've done, and then see you later?
Feedback like do more Oasis.
That's not people. That's just annoying.
Sing.
We get good feedback.
Oh, we do get good feedback.
Really
We've got
kind feedback.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Really
Sorry,
kind.
Amber. Yeah, really kind.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes people write it down and we capture it and we put it on the website because it's really sweet. But yeah, people are generous with their comments, but also we've got a core of people that come and talk to us who are honest. And I'll be blunt, it's those honest comments like, yeah, that one's not really got enough go in it, or you sure about that one is right for you? So we don't mind things like that, because as you rightly say, that's how you keep growing, is listening to what people are saying, taking that feedback and going, yeah, perhaps Amber should sing some more songs. Yeah, we agree. Stop singing songs, Terry.
Talking about singing. You're a good singer too.
Should talk about
I
that.
should talk about that, definitely.
Well, let's
talk about it.
Let's talk. What I will
The floor
do
is open.
before we quickly move into that.
Oh, there we go. There's the cat.
The cat moved
Off you
through.
go.
I'm just gonna put that up. So
that's
the Break Cover website. You can actually hear all of the songs on there. The history of the band is on there as well, which I think is such a unique thing to have.
I love
and
reading
it
that.
certainly helped with myself. But yes, I mean, although you are the lead singer in the band, Amber, you're not necessarily the only singer in the band.
No. And Terry doesn't get enough limelight at all.
So why did you start singing quite so many songs, Terry? How did that come about?
So I'm not necessarily one that likes having the limelight, if that makes sense. So I'm quite happy to kind of be a supporting singer, really. But so what started off happening is lockdown. So lockdown happened, all live music shut, our gig calendar. First of all, it's like the first couple sort of fell over, then a few more fell over, then it's like, oh, we'll pick it up again when it happens.
Well, we went from 33, I think, in 2019 to 5 in 2020.
And most of, in fact, only one of them was after March.
Yeah.
And that was the big one outside that was when we had that little easing in the rugby club. And we had,
that
was
really
with
yes.
Oh, I remember that.
that was really
one that you were
hungover.
really late for, like turned up and just gotten on stage because you were hungover.
I think I was
Hilarious.
still drunk.
So anyway, lockdown happened, and searching out for ways to do music. I'm one of those people. You'll find me at some open mic night jam or something like that, and I'll go and play anything. Throw me what the song is, the first chord, and I'll be roughly there or thereabouts. And it really did me in. Really, I really struggled with the whole not doing anything during lockdown. So I managed to find a little bit of software called Jamulus. I'd recommend it because it sorted myself out. And what I was finding is that I could play in real time with people from all over Europe. So that was Dutch, French, Italian, German. There was a lot of Germans on there. Really quality players. Some of them like actual professionals that essentially I can't do what I normally do. So I'm going to do this to sort of keep me going. And so I thought, no, stuff it. What I'm going to do is I really like the whole like turn up and do anything. So I host a jam night on Jamulus. And it was every Thursday night it started out as, because, well, we had the time and the capacity to do it every Thursday night.
But no one else was doing
No one
anything.
else was
You
doing
couldn't go
anything. So on a Thursday night, I used to host a jam night. And it really depended on who turned up. Drummers was a really real pain because obviously to try and live play drums into an interface is quite an ask. So I got proficient on the little 4x4 pad. So essentially doing drumming with your fingers, use that bass drum, that snare drum, hi-hats and stuff. So I got sort of fairly au fait with that. But also singers, no vocalists to turn up. And it's like, because there's no one really watching, there's no crowd to kind of go, oh, that was rubbish.
No one records it.
No one records it. It's like, I'll give it a shot. So pretty much every Thursday for gusting 2 hours, I was singing most of the evening. And it's like, actually, it's not too bad. I could probably do this. And started slipping old break cover songs into maybe we'll do this one next. And stuff. Yeah, okay. So I got a fair bit of practice at it. And then when lockdown finished, it's like, that's when, we'd changed drummer beforehand, but Craig was, he did a lot of vocals as well from behind the drums.
Yeah.
So when we came back to it, it's like, well, I could do this song. Rich, also bass player, he did some singing as well. So, and it was a case of just kind of reassuring that I could actually maybe do that. So,
and he's being modest because there's a couple of them that he's sort of taken to somewhere that I wouldn't have seen that they went to. You have to hear his version of Pretty Vacant. That is the funniest thing on the planet. He takes his in-ears out so he can't hear himself and just shouts at the microphone. Absolutely brilliant.
Never asked me to sing anything after that. I'm literally...
And I think how you've learned to harmonise. It just clicks, doesn't it? And we just look at each other and we're like, ooh, that works.
And Dave came along and he could sing as well, and he harmonises as well.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, there's now multiple vocalists making those big noises at the front, which helps to the big noise you were talking about.
Amazing. So I mean, COVID and lockdown was a nightmare for all, all musicians. But I'll touch on this really, really quickly because it all relate back to something else a little bit later on. But you guys were also affected in quite a way by Novichok, because one of your I term your key venues, somewhere that if I think about you guys, there are a couple of places I generally think of, and the Bishop's Mill was like a haunt for you guys. And that was sort of taken away as well. I mean, I guess it wouldn't have stopped you playing elsewhere, which is absolutely fine. But that's quite a big place for you to lose for quite some time.
The big deal there was the Hootenanny.
Yeah.
So we were doing for a little while this thing. I mean, we called it a Hootenanny because we stole it from the Jules Holland thing. But it was essentially a break cover gig where just anybody could come along, and we didn't care if they played guitar, if they sang, if they wanted to do the drums, whatever they wanted to do for 2 or 3 songs, they'd come over and do a bit, and we swapped round.
It's like a musician's office party for Christmas.
Yeah, it was. It was the Salisbury musicians' office party. It was fantastic fun. And the old mill, the Bishop's Mill, was fantastic for it because they used to have a big open space at the bottom. They haven't really changed the layout. You've got the sort of bottom floor, the middle floor, and then that sort of mezzanine that's right at the top.
Yeah.
But the bottom floor, the bar wasn't there. That was just a big open space. So for putting out 3 guitar amps, a massive set of drums, and having all the room to move around, it was absolutely perfect. And we did 2 or 3 there, and it was just the most fun. I think we started it at the old ale house.
It was the old ale house
before it had its refurb. And then when they refurbed, we moved over to the mill, and that's why it became a thing, because they were huge. You couldn't move some nights in there when those were on. They were really cool. So yeah, you're right. Novichok was hard because we kind of lost that, and then they did a refurb and moved it.
So we did.
We've lost Ellen again. Which keeps going.
We did. We did do one post the refurb.
We did.
So essentially, because we knew the people that were there, we were kind of on the hook for like one of the first gigs when it comes back, and it's like really excited. You know, it'd be really great to get it back open. You know, had some really great gigs there. And then when there was another band that I can't remember the name now.
Saints of Sin. There you go.
Yeah. So they were going to like open the pub, and it's like and that apparently didn't go. They cancelled it or something.
Oh really?
There was something around that because
when it was Sophie left.
Yeah,
around then. Yeah,
so
okay.
It was and then our gig was cancelled off the back of the fact that they worked out that essentially they had nowhere really to put a band.
Yeah.
Because look at the layout now, really, unless you're playing at the bar
in a corner,
you've kind of got
or under the stairs, which is where we actually ended up.
So
for that Hootenanny.
Yeah, so later on in the year, it's like, oh, we'd really love to do the Hootenanny. It's a really good event. It gets a lot of people in. Usually we put buckets out for charity and stuff.
No, there's a brilliant photo of you holding a bucket in your mouth in a Dracula costume.
No, not in a Dracula costume.
No, Dracula?
No.
Sure.
I just had a wireless, so I was walking up and down the bar.
Different gig. There's another one with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, moving.
Sidetrack.
But yeah, we ended up playing like underneath the stairs, which was really kind of weird because you had all of the bench seats were like non-movable, so it just made it really kind of awkward to go out try and get in there. And I think that's the last time we played there.
Yeah,
I don't think
there's some of the pictures of how many people were there.
Yeah,
because you could stand on the stairs that were up to that other floor.
Yeah.
So there's a load of pictures from up there, just looking down the length of the pub, and it's just full of people. They were such good events.
Yeah.
So we nearly we were about to start talking to the Duck to maybe do one this year in the Duck, and of course that's now sadly closed.
Yeah.
So we're still looking for
reopen.
Oh, sorry, say again.
It looks like it's going to reopen.
Right. Okay. Well, that might be fun.
Yeah.
So there you go. There's a plug. If anybody wants us to host a Hootenanny this year, let us know. We'd love to do that somewhere.
Yeah.
That would be really, really good. And I think we'd probably be there for that, I reckon.
Probably, definitely.
How many songs do you want to do? Come on. In you come.
We'll talk about that later. It's all good.
That's cool.
Moving swiftly on. It's not about me. So that's break cover. You've been going for ages. You've been doing loads of stuff. You've kind of now got this group of people that you've had now for a year, sounding great, and then, and we've alluded to it, you decide to drop a bombshell and go, hey, we've also got a side project called BCDC. So how did that come about? Oh,
I
Go on then.
How did it come about, Amber?
Oh, how did that start, Amber? And how much of that story do you want to tell?
not definitely not all.
all
So I
of
went
it.
to go and see AC/DC tribute called
Dirty
Dirty
DC.
DC.
DC, yeah.
And I have quite an unhealthy obsession with one of their members. And that's as far as I'll go on that. I was very, very drunk, and I didn't really know much of AC/DC before that. Knew the big hits, and I just stood there in awe, watching things like Dirty Deeds and The Jack, and I was like, I want to do this. I want to play this. And I brought it up a few times, and you're like, And then Simon says, well, it would mean I could get a Malcolm guitar. And then
Well, there was another bit.
And what bit was that?
Well, you were coming to the practices saying, I really want to do some more AC/DC.
Yeah.
So, okay, we would add another AC/DC song. Whole lot of Rosie got added as a result of that.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And then Dave Annaway dropped this bombshell that he knew all the AC/DC songs on bass, guitar, drums, and vocals, and he records them all at home because he was in. Now, I'm going to get the video right, which is a shame, but it might be the video for Who Made Who.
Wow.
I thought he was in Dirty Deeds.
No, he had the final for that.
That was
yeah.
But yeah, so one of them, he's in the video. You won't recognize him because it was a while ago, and he has pointed it out, but he's got hair, so it's we don't recognize him. And he's the one with a big wall of people, whatever one that was.
Yeah.
I have to look it up. And he dropped that bombshell that he was in the video and that he knew all the songs. He was like, all the songs. Yeah, like all the songs. Okay.
It's been a couple of times on practices. I've swapped I've gone on bass and he's played the
riff.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it went from that to like me going, well, Terry could dress up. This could work.
I come back to my point and I don't like the limelight.
Well, yeah, because and let's talk about the name then. So, Break Cover plays the songs of AC/DC. So, Break Cover BC plays DC, BC/DC. So that was quite a logical step to make. But then we were like, oh well, we don't want to be a tribute act because we're not going to stand in the same spaces as they do.
We tried it, didn't we?
We did try that because I don't know if you've noticed, but Terry and I always stand in exactly the same space. I'm always next to the drummer. Terry's on the end. The bassist is on the other side.
We're not trusted together.
No, they have to be separated. Otherwise, there's trouble. The bass player's on the wrong side. Everyone tells us we're the wrong way around, but we've done it for so long that every time we change it, we try something different. It breaks something.
Yeah.
There is something about those two amps sat next to each other making one noise that just is part of that break cover thing. Yeah. So we did try lining it up like AC/DC do, but it just didn't quite gel in the same way. So it became Break Cover plays the music of DC rather than we are an AC/DC tribute act. Yeah. And then he started dressing up like Angus.
Well, we've had the pleasure of seeing that. And, did I say pleasure?
Yeah. It was a pleasure because obviously when you come out as Break Cover, you've got your black and red that you wear, black shirts and the red ties. And then we came to see you and you all came out in completely different outfits and we were a bit like, whoa, what's going on here? This is a whole new visual as well. But yeah, you sounded fantastic. I can't wait for Sunday. It's going to be a great set.
Yeah.
So Sunday. Sorry, Amber, go on.
How hard they are didn't appreciate how hard they are to sing, to learn, to play until you go back to a Break Cover gig and you go, oh, Oh, that was nice.
We keep talking about that. What is so AC/DC, right? 3 chords, 4 chords, really easy. Everyone can play them, no problem at all. No, not at all. There is something that goes on between Angus and Malcolm. And if you just go, oh, I'm not quite feeling it today, I'll just strum along. No, it doesn't work.
Doesn't work.
So what happens is they're really difficult songs with really hard parts.
0 vocal cues.
Yeah, because the
Nothing.
timing is really weird. And if you don't give it everything, if you don't really throw yourself into it, there's something missing.
Yeah.
You know, some of that AC/DC energy is in the that you have to give it as a band. And if you don't give it, it doesn't work. So we'll do, 45 minutes on Sunday, and we'll come off and we'll feel like we've done 4 hours. Everyone will be absolutely dripping, and it'll be like, oh, can I have a bank holiday now? So that one that you saw us at, which was an hour, I think I slept for like 24 hours after that.
2 days. It's like, how am I not this gig fit? Just everything ached. It's like I've obviously jumped around far more than I should have done.
Well, I think what happens is because we jump around and we're silly with break cover,
Yeah.
we give everything in break cover, but we're so used to it. We've done it and they're fine. Where these songs are, less than a year old for us. I mean, the 2 that we've added to the set on Sunday are 6. We've played them twice.
Yeah.
So, that's an edge to it as well. These are new songs for us that we haven't played, 20 or 30 times before. We are bringing these for the first time. And that's a mental thing. So now you've got new and hard and energetic, and it's a different game. Different game.
It's pure energy, like from start to finish. There is no. They don't do slow ballads, do they?
We put the jack in for a little while because that was close, and everyone got up and danced to it. It was like, where do we go with this? You can't have a rest. Yeah, brilliant.
Absolutely brilliant. So as we said, you're playing Sunday. When everyone that's listening to this, that is yesterday. But you're playing at Laverstock Live. I cannot wait for everyone to hear you guys perform the AC/DC songs. There is just something really magical about AC/DC. I mean,
Agreed.
Some of the riffs, you might not be the biggest fan of AC/DC. You might know only 2 or 3 songs, but you hear a riff and you're away. People know, and they're like, wow, this is my time to get up and dance like an absolute loon, because you guys are bringing the energy, so I need to bring the energy. So I apologize for my dance moves, because I will definitely be up there.
Also, it's an outside event as well, and I think there's always a different feeling to an outside event. Personally, I prefer outdoor events. It's generally a bigger stage. There's more room for you guys to do your thing. There's more room for the audience to get involved and do their thing, rather than sitting at a table, not wanting to leave the table because they don't want to lose their spot. So I think hopefully people will just be up there with us. Otherwise, it'll just be us, Alex.
They will be, and it probably will be as well. But there we go. Right.
Brilliant.
So before we finish, we're going to just do some quick fire questions. Okay.
Okay.
Big E, do you want to go first?
What's your favourite song as a band to perform?
To perform, yeah.
Oh, has everyone got different ones, or
Kids in America.
Kids America for you? Is it?
Because of Pete at the end.
Yeah.
That is just mega.
I do quite like singing Rebel Yell,
Yeah.
because that's off the chart. I don't think people expect.
No, it's got all the energy, isn't it? I think for me, it's a whole lot of Rosie, because because of Pete.
Yeah.
Because of Pete. Yeah, there you go.
Fantastic. Summer Festival or Hootenanny?
Summer Festival.
Yep. All day long.
We got Fingal Fest this year, haven't we?
Yep. Oh, well, that's just BCDC.
That's BCDC.
Yeah.
You won't be surprised to know that we're there as well.
Thank you. Very kind. But yeah, the summer festivals, there is something magical.
Yeah.
We had a lovely run last year. We did the Amesbury Carnival. We did Shrewton Cricket Club. Where else did we play that?
Bear.
That was my attempt
Oh,
at
the
booking
Bear. That was
A
something.
3-gig weekend, but 2 of those were in one day.
Yeah, that was quite hard.
Thankfully, we didn't have to do PA for one of them.
Yeah.
But that's cool.
But yeah, it's exactly as you said. It's the big stage. It's the more relaxed audience. The Bear does a beer festival and the last bank holiday of August. And we always tend to do the Saturday. And I don't know why. We've just sort of fallen into this habit. Last year's was
It was a monster.
absolutely monstrous. And I think we probably did more AC/DC songs there.
Yeah.
That was definitely one of those trigger points.
Yeah.
Because every single AC/DC song just exploded.
The roar.
Yeah,
especially
from
with
the
Thunderstruck,
crowd.
It's just like,
Yeah.
wow.
So yeah, Summer Festival for me. Although the Hootenanny's its own thing. We just haven't done it for 4 years. So
Yeah, it's been very. Yeah, we need to do one.
Yeah,
Need to do
Yeah,
one
it'd be nice to get that back
yeah, I agree.
for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So if you guys are not performing on a weekend, do you have a favourite local act that you would want to go and watch?
Oh, I like that. That's a great question. We're gonna have to think about that. That's an actual question we need to think about.
For me at the minute, it's Paul Furtado. It's Threemo and Blue
Yep.
Furtado.
Screamo.
I like them. They're really cool. I don't really get out much. I play horses if I'm not in the band.
See, I like
That's another reason why festivals are so good, because you
Yeah,
go
you
and
don't
you
have to think
perform,
about it.
you then get to see the other acts as well. It's not just like your
Yeah.
own gig.
Yeah, quite often we're gigging at the same time. So things like what we did the one at the start of the year with so that's for Tom.
Yep.
So Solar were playing as well as Threemo,
Yeah.
as well
I
as
really enjoyed seeing Solar, a band that we just seem to run alongside
in
with.
parallel with
Yeah,
across
and
paths.
you watch them and you're like, oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, great band.
Yeah.
Great band. Funny, I always think of us as AC/DC and them as Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
I 100% get that.
Yeah.
100% get that.
So for me, I think I really liked I think it was even the same gig. Love Is Enough. That was amazing. So in terms of original, I think for Love Is Enough is the one that really made me go, oh, that is properly different. I like that.
Yeah.
But for cover bands, a new band that don't even think it's a year old, Lucy Loves Liquor.
Yeah.
They
Right.
bring the energy. They really, if you want to, get up and do the thing, they bring the energy. So yeah, there's a few around at the moment. As always, it's Salisbury.
Exactly.
Salisbury for live music has always been. You mentioned statues. This is the quickfire round, right? Okay.
Yep.
You mentioned statues right at the beginning. That when they were around in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s, the Salisbury music scene was off the charts. I remember Salisbury Arts Centre, you go and see Michelle Shocked, you go and see the Meteors, you go and see Wilco Johnson. And it was every single Thursday. And if you weren't in there, you were in the King and Bishop or the Old Ale House, watching that every Thursday. And then there was something on Friday. So to be part of that scene in the late 80s, early 90s, that was a joy to be in, because it was just everywhere. And it was there was more originals then than there were cover bands.
Yeah. 100%.
You see a lot of bands because you do the jam nights and
Yeah, we didn't do your favourite. You'll go.
Oh, yeah.
Go.
Quickfire.
Make up
No.
I just thought you were giving him time to think.
Paddy.
What I didn't do,
Think.
unfortunately, was think. I sort of like, oh, okay, well, that's probably enough of that. So,
No, I think
Fair
our
enough.
favourite Salisbury band.
You can't say break them.
Southbound.
He's in
Great.
it.
I
yeah.
can't say that because I'm in it.
Oh,
No,
yeah. I forgot.
I do like the there's 2 long-running open mic nights that we go to. Don't often get very many original players though. Essentially, it's usually covers bands that go and do a stint. But Music for Fun, or M4F as they are on Facebook, and Sarum Live, which unfortunately is paused at the moment because of the duck, but we're working on that. But it's great to see. I usually go to that to see who's coming along. Yeah.
There you go.
That's cool. That's good. Ellen?
That's yours.
I thought that was mine.
No, that was mine.
Oh, was it? Okay. In that case, we'll go. All right. So this is for Simon and Terry, but I am then going to spin it for Amber.
No.
Okay.
So guys, Gibson or Fender?
Oh,
How long have you got?
Hi, my name's Simon, and welcome to my TED Talk.
So I had a proper resistance to Gibson guitars. So I was always Fender. I had Fender Telecasters. The coolest Telecaster I used to own was a 1974 Telecaster Deluxe. And I part exchanged that for a 1982 Fender Rosewood Telecaster. So I was proper Fender. In fact, one of the most joyful instruments I own is a 1968 Fender Telecaster. That is an original 1968, and it is incredible. You could strip paint with its treble pickup. It's amazing. But I resisted Les Pauls in particular, but Gibsons generally, because they just, I don't know, there was something about the image, there was something about the brand. At the time, they weren't particularly well known for the quality, the early stages of the band. So I just resisted it. I resisted it, and I couldn't get it. And then we went to my favourite music shop in all the world.
So you even bought one and then traded it in again.
they do the
you?
best
Oh,
coffee.
yeah.
Brown one. You
Did.
bought one wanting to like it.
Yeah, you're right.
I just go for the coffee.
So the guitar I bought was one of the Les Pauls with the robot tuners.
Okay.
You press the button and it tuned itself. And I just couldn't get on with it. I just couldn't get on with it. I had an SG because I really liked the look of it, but it was a 24 fret one with a Bigsby on it. And it was amazing until you touched it.
Yeah,
The second you touched it, it was out of tune. Didn't matter where you touched it. If you touched it, it was out of tune. And then 2017, I fell in love with Gibson Custom Shop Modern Double Cut. Completely new shape, completely original guitar. Loved it. $4,000. Wow. Okay, I love it at a distance. And then 2 years later, they offered the same guitar at half price. And it was like, yeah, okay, I've got to do that. And I really like that. And then, in fact, I played that at the Armed Forces Day on the big stage. And then 2 years after that, the owners at Gibson had changed, and they were starting to dig back through their catalogue. And they reintroduced, I think it was a 1961 SG with the Maestro trem with the great big shiny thing on the back. And the look of that was out of this world. And we went up to my favourite guitar shop and tried it, and it was like that. And I pretty much played that Gibson SG for the whole time since I bought it in 21 all the way through to now. But I may have then gone and bought the odd extra Gibson as well.
Odd.
You've got all the shapes now.
I've got every shape,
including the ones they finished with.
Yeah.
So since buying his I Don't Need Any More after Malcolm.
Yeah.
How many more have you bought since that guitar?
3. Yeah.
Only 3.
And 2 of those are Gibsons. So yeah, Gibson.
Do you have
Terry?
a whole storage unit for all of your guitars? Because that sounds like a lot.
A very understanding wife, I think, is the.
That's the magic trick.
We loved it.
It's gotten so bad, and I'm not kidding. Gibson wrote to me today and said, "We've got an offer on this just for you if you want to buy this guitar." How bad is that? Oh, and it's an SG, so that makes it really helpful.
Uh-oh.
So sorry for my short answer, but that was my TED talk on Gibsons.
Gibson.
So,
Terry?
where it's quite funny because when we started the band, I had very little in terms of equipment. I had what would be considered a bedroom player. I had a Squier Stratocaster, I had a Marshall 30-watt little combo thing, and it was terrible. Try and push that against the drummer, just didn't work. So after some emergency upgrading, it took me a long time to get to where I wanted to. So my sort of influences are definitely in the sort of like Jimmy Page / Led Zeppelin, Thin Lizzy, sort of type vibe. So my favouriteest of guitarists are all Les Paul players, really. Always wanted one, could never afford one. So it was just a case of biding my time, really, building up enough gig money to go and buy one. But then I'd, stuff would get in the way and have to spend the money on something else.
Life gets in the way.
Can't do tyres.
In 6 years has bought one guitar.
Yeah, I'm very boring in that respect. But
both those Pauls.
But I started with Squire Stratocaster, and it's the best Stratocaster I've ever played.
Yeah, it's the best Stratocaster I've ever heard.
And there's something about this weird. And I even bought it from Argos on Southampton Road when it was there. And it came in a box, and it's like the first thing I did was I took it apart and I sprayed it Peugeot Kingfisher Blue, because strange enough,
with a can.
Strange enough, it was for the musical. It was a swatch of the uniform. Walked around Halfords, the spray tins, going, "That'll do." And then it was supposed to be a prop. It was never supposed to work as a guitar, but it's honestly, it's probably one of the things that I would run in and grab in a house fire. But I absolutely love that Stratocaster, and I play Stratocasters differently. So when I play the Les Paul, it's generally a lot more. I'll beat the thing up. I just jump around and beat the thing up. But when I play with Stratocaster, I still do the same sort of thing, but just how your pick articulates is just different. Don't know.
Different guitars require to be played differently.
Yeah.
It's back to that energy thing we were talking about with AC/DC. I've got a Malcolm Young signature Gretsch, so it's identical to his, even with the 2 missing pickups. You try playing that delicately, it will not have it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so finish up, because your story is quite fun.
Gibson, for me,
Gibson.
To play.
And it's his fault, because I was always Fender, but he was relentless. And every time we would go guitar shopping, he'd pick up a Gibson and play it. In fact, there was one occasion where we got them to bring down five different identical guitars, same model, same color, and we played them back to back. We both played them back to back, and one of them was at least twice as good as the others.
Yeah.
And that was the one that he bought. But of course, me going along and playing these blooming guitars, it rubbed off. So now I've got a bunch of them and all. Thanks, Tal.
I've got 2. He's got multiples of 2. I think.
And I'll throw the same question at Amber, but Debbie Gibson or Sam Fender, because I didn't know how else to do it.
Nice.
Gibson.
Debbie Gibson.
Debbie
Can I have
Gibson.
Tiffany? Oh, as an answer. Sorry. I'll have Tiffany as an answer rather than
That's
Debbie Gibson.
fair enough. All right.
Okay, we need to wrap this up in a minute, but I have another question.
You do.
Let's do it. Okay. What's your favourite venue to play?
Kudos, I think it's a monster when you've got that crowd and they're there for the music. It just lifts.
Can I answer that differently?
Yeah, you
It's
are allowed.
It's the ones where, and it doesn't have to be kudos, although that happens most often at kudos. It's the ones where the magic feedback loop happens.
Yeah.
The one where you start playing and you get a vibe, and then the audience feeds on that and they start roaring you along. And then that makes you play even harder, and the hairs on your neck stand up, and then you're really going, and then the audience are really coming at you. And it just...
And
good
then
positive feedback.
Simon and me just bounce off each other.
Yeah.
And it's the sweatier the better.
So we've done a few of those. The lights, turning on the Christmas lights was like that. The thing at the Bridge Festival.
Oh, that was
in
mad.
Stockbridge.
Yeah.
That was the first time I got that.
Sorry, dogs.
We've got a cat shouting his head off over here.
In fact, I'm going to just quickly.
Okay.
Let the cat out.
But the one place where that happens most consistently, and it's not every single time, but the times when it's not happened, I can't even remember. But the times when it happens is so often is kudos. So
Yeah.
I think I have to agree with Amber. It's probably kudos.
Yes.
For us, we're a covers band. You know, with not every venue wants yet another covers band to be there.
Yeah.
But yeah, as a covers band for us, it's definitely kudos.
Amazing. Do you want to ask one more, or are
Sorry.
you happy?
Dogs they keep
That's all right.
scratching and barking at the door, so I have to keep.
I've got a bunch. I know what it's like.
Yeah. So what you're saying about the venues, I think obviously for you as performers, those are your best, where the energy from the audience is there. But definitely for us in the audience as well, they're our favourites, because when the audience is enjoying the band, it makes you able to enjoy the band more as well. Because I love dancing. I love feeling the energy and getting up and really rah-rahing. But if everyone else is just sat, it's just not the same. So yeah, I love the bouncy venues.
Bouncy venues.
Bouncy venues.
Completely agree.
Yeah.
We'll see break cover on bouncy castles soon. Then, just so that she does love a bouncy castle or a bouncy slide.
I
So
do.
Need your arms for balance. They're a
Can you
bit busy.
can you imagine Pete? Can you imagine Pete drumming on a bouncy castle? He'd go through it.
guys,
Brilliant.
it's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you today. Thank you so much for your time. We look forward to seeing you on Sunday. But please, guys, if you get the opportunity, please check out break cover, as if you haven't already, but also BCDC, because it is really, really something special. So
Brilliant.
until next time,
Thank you
very
very
much, guys.
much.
Thank you very
Been
much.
a joy. See you later.
Bye.
Call me again.
Yes,
Every
we did.
time.
Yes, we did.
Oh, that was break cover.
That's amazing. What you don't know
3/5.
is, although the interview was an hour, we actually ended up chatting to her for another half an hour after.
That's it. Couldn't shut him up. Gibson, Fender.
And the dogs are going again. Okay.
Our neighbours are outside, and the dogs are like, oh, it's like they've never seen them before. Never mind.
Never mind.
Anyway, we've got something rather important to do now, haven't we?
Yes, we have.
Okay, would you like to tell everyone what it is?
So we said at the beginning of the podcast that we have been given the results for the 3 winners of the seed funding from Transition City. So all of the votes that were in the ballot on Saturday last week have been counted and verified, and they have emailed us the results so that we can let you know the 3 winners. So shall I just go straight in? 'Cause I'm very
I
excited.
think you need to. It's just like,
Okay, so in 3rd place,
here we go.
who have been awarded £250 towards their, I mean, even the dogs are very excited, so I do apologise for this, is BU, the LGBTQIAT youth group, supporting youth people in Salisbury for the LGBTQIA+. Amazing. I loved those guys. On the day, we were walking around and their store was the funnest. It looked amazing. The guys were just really happy to be there, and they were encouraging people to come up and make badges.
They're making badges bit was really, really cool.
It was really cool. And I did ask if one of them wanted to come and have a little chat on the main stage, but Becca Moore had already nabbed them for the youth stage.
Which makes absolute sense.
It does
youth
make
part of thing
sense. It
Makes
does.
absolute sense.
It does. So
But they were wonderful.
congratulations, BU LGBTQIA+.
£250 winging its way to you, no doubt, very, very soon. That's fantastic. Well done. Second place.
Second place.
So second place in the ballot wins £500 to their cause that they were working towards. And everybody was worthy. I think it's worth pointing out that everybody that was involved was incredibly worthy. But this was all voted for by the good old general public. And so, for £500, winging its way to you, is the Hazel Hill Wood Nature Reserve. Congratulations to you. They run a nature and wellbeing events in Salisbury, bringing their knowledge from the woods into the city. They were fantastic. They were doing little nature walks on the day.
They
We
called
don't-
it a mini nature adventure.
Mini nature adventure. We don't know what the lady's name was, but she came up to us and she was like, so I've got this big yellow banner on a stick, and if I hold it up, I want the kids to come and follow me on this little mini nature adventure. So we gave her a shout out, and the kids were like, wow, they were off having a fantastic time. So congratulations to you. £500 winging its way to the Hazel Hill Wood Nature Reserve.
Woohoo! Well done,
Well done.
congratulations. Okay, so first place winning or being awarded, should we say, £750.
Shall I?
Are you going to drum roll for me? Where's Thor when you need him? Broken Bridges Nature Reserve. Congratulations. Working towards the acquisition of the Broken Bridges land for the community. Now, these guys were the first tent that I came across when we came in. So they're trying to buy a piece of land, which is a well-known farmland at Lower Bemerton. And they're trying to basically save it from future development so that it can be enjoyed by the people of Salisbury. They want to list it with the Wiltshire Council as an asset of community value. And once they've done that, once they've achieved it, I signed the petition. So please go onto the website, which is
On the screen now.
mybrokenbridges.org.uk. Sign the petition, and then once they are allowed to list it as a asset of community value, they basically get 6 months then to purchase. So they need to raise £250,000 by the end of July. So £750. Thank you, people. That is going to go a long way. Very well
Hopefully it
deserved.
does. Congratulations to you all. Well done. Incredible stuff.
Incredible. I mean, there was a list of a lot of people to choose from on the day. We gave quite a few of them shout outs, and they were all worthy causes. But these are the winners as voted by the people that attended, people in the park. So thank you very much.
Well done to you all. And that is pretty much it.
That is. And we're taking a break now.
Oh, we have completely forgot about that.
Yeah. We're going on holiday. We're going abroad. Ooh, on a
Oh,
plane.
gosh.
Not very
that's
eco-friendly, but
not
don't
quite
worry, I'll
sure
walk to work to
what that is.
counterbalance my carbon footprint.
Yes. So this will be the last podcast for a month. We're going to take June off. We've already let Kev Lawrence know, so you'll get to listen to him a lot more than just us, which is lovely. And we'll be back in July. We've already lined up some fantastic some fantastic shows coming your way very soon. Some people have been very, very interested, so we're going to nab them while they're interested.
Yeah.
But as we always say, if you are part of a community cause or music within Salisbury and the surrounding area, drop us an email, drop us a message on Facebook. Let us know. We can add you to the list.
Or a
can get-
venue, actually. We haven't had a music venue.
Oh, a venue, yeah.
A venue would be good to see what they're doing, how they organise things, who they want on.
Well, I mean, we're letting the cat out of the bag a little bit.
Okay.
Maybe.
No, sorry.
We've
Maybe
kind of-
we need to
maybe.
have a month off and get some fresh ideas.
Maybe we do. Maybe we should. We're going to take a month off. And we'll see you when we see you, I guess.
We might even be tanned.
Not a chance.
We
now.
won't.
We don't like the sun.
We don't.
It's not happening.
Thank you.
Until next time.
Peace out.
No idea what that was.
Okay, you can go anytime you like.
I'll do
Are
it
you
now
going to outro like a jingle?
Oh, am I going to do a jingle? Do you want a
Seriously,
jingle, do you?
Every time. Every time.
Goodbye.
Bye.